Hello friends and welcome to The Lobby, GameSpot's weekly hangout every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, right here on videogames.com. I'm your host, Danny O'Dwyer, and boy oh boy, videogames.com are back. Today we're going to talk about Halo 5, we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which is not a Syndicate game. Very disappointed Bullfrog aren't back. We're going to talk about Guitar Hero Live as well, which you fine gentlemen.
Yes.
We're also going to talk about Dark Souls 3. Video games.
They're a thing.
Video games.
Big fan.
They were back.
Where were they?
They were gone for
so long.
so
They were always
long.
here. It's just that they
were inside us all along.
You're like the Justin Timberlake of games. You're just bringing them back.
I am, yeah. I'm not bringing sexy back.
Very relevant
Definitely
pop song
not.
reference from what was that, 8 years ago?
The kids love JT. He's like Michael Jackson to our generation.
Sometimes people do, when I go to check out at a store and they're like, oh, your name's Justin. They go, Justin Timberlake? Like,
really?
Yeah.
That's like,
no,
Justin's
just like
not
as a joke.
that weird a name.
It's really not. It's not like Butterworth, you know?
Yeah,
we covered this last.
It's better than Bieber, though. No one ever goes, Bieber?
Yeah, I mean, if your surname was Bieber, or if your surname was like, if your first name was like Shaquille, I can see people going like, oh, like Shaquille. But Justin is such like a, don't get me wrong, it's a pretty common name.
It's a very common name.
That's like saying Daniel, like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Is that why you went with Danny? Because it's just a little more. Yeah.
I went with, no, it's just, I went with Danny because everyone has to have a slightly different name on radio.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Daniel Day-Lewis does actually make a reference work because he's Irish, perhaps. But enough about movies. What is this? An entertainment website? We're here to talk about video games.
.com.
What
happens if you go to videogames.com?
It goes to GameSpot.
Does it really?
Yeah.
How did I never know that?
Right?
That's crazy.
That's SEO.
Sean McInnes was one day walking down the street in San Francisco. One guy went, yeah, videogames.com. And he was like, what the fuck? Okay.
I'm so pleased to know this
there you
now.
go.
I'm just going to tell them I work for videogames.com.
We also own Kanye Spot. Thanks to Tim Moore.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I actually heard about that. Well, this is a more recent thing. It's
KanyeSpot.com
it's
also
pretty
works.
funny.
It goes to a very specific part of GameSpot.
I'm just going to use that for every URL I tweet.
Anyway, we haven't gotten into music. We haven't gotten into music quite yet.
Instantly derailed the entire
Speaking
show.
of Kanye.
Exactly. There's no
Segue.
There's no segue I can pull up from that one. Actually, no. We are talking about music.
Yes,
what am I talking
we
about? We're here to talk about Guitar Hero Live.
Yes.
Scott Butterworth, you have reviewed this game for GameSpot.com.
Yes.
The review is up now. What did you give it?
Give it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Which was a bit lower than what a lot of other people gave the game. I was actually a little surprised to see that so many of the other scores were consistently higher than mine. I'm currently the lowest review on Metacritic, which I like I said, a little bit surprised.
And also lower than you gave Rock Band.
By a point, yes. I gave Rock Band 4 a 7 out of 10. Yes.
So let's talk about what's in Guitar Hero Live, because there's lots of different messaging. There's 2 games coming out. They've all got different systems. And like I have to say, like probably one of the most difficult parts for you reviewing this game must have been trying to just communicate what this game is.
Yeah.
Because it's not just what's on the disc.
It was a complicated review, in part because, yes, the game itself is complicated. There's a lot going on in the game. It tries to do a lot of different things and a lot of new things. But I also had very conflicting feelings about the game, very extreme, polar opposite feelings of a lot of the different aspects. So trying to reconcile all those feelings and synthesize them into a cohesive review proved very difficult.
So what are the sections? There's like a campaign, and then there's the easiest way to boil it down, right? There's like campaign and then
like
the weird
music
TV
service thing.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that's basically what the game is. Like the package Guitar Hero Live, the game comes with Guitar Hero Live, which is a campaign, 42 songs over live footage, custom created, shot with a first-person camera to make it look like you're on stage.
So that's all of this stuff.
That's what you're looking at on screen right now. And then there's also Guitar Hero TV, which is sort of a music streaming service thing. It's difficult to describe because it's not entirely like any other service out there, which does make it interesting, but it also has some really frustrating aspects to its setup.
Let's get into that in a second. For the moment, though, let's talk about the first-person campaign-y stuff.
Sure.
So what is that like? Are those songs set in motion? Are they like the same songs everyone's going to play throughout the campaign? Are you playing in different places in first person? Like, how does it work?
So the way that Guitar Hero Live is structured is basically you have a bunch of sets that are structured that under an umbrella of you're playing 2 different music fests, and there are different bands playing different sets at different times. Each set is a preset list of songs. There are 42 on-disc songs. That's what this campaign is using. So over the course of that entire campaign, you play each song as a sort of fake band within, set up again as fests and sets and things within that. And you get, each band has a sort of different look about them and sticks within a sort of genre of music. But all of it is really goofy and inauthentic and just kind of bizarre. Justin, it sounded like you were going to chime in.
Well, unlike the previous games, you're not creating your own band. Like, this is all set up. But for me, like, I feel like it's really cool whenever I watch that footage of getting that first-person shot of the crowd and looking out and, like, playing bigger and bigger venues. And that feels like it would add a lot of excitement, like, being there, like, I'm actually playing this concert and looking out.
Yeah, look at, like, for instance, this. Look at this for setup.
Yeah, like, I'm actually at the concert. He's going to help me get up the stairs. If I were playing this in virtual reality, this would blow my mind.
Does it, or can you even do you even notice? Because are you just looking at your notes on the screen?
So that's the thing. When you're actually playing a song, no, you kind of don't, which I think is a big part of why the motions and the acting and everything are so exaggerated. They kind of assume you're only going to be watching it from out of the corner of your eye.
So they're trying to sell it.
So everything is so hammy and played up and over the top. Like every thumbs up is just like really ridiculously exaggerated.
Wasn't there someone with a sign at one stage that said you're?
There are a bunch of like weird generic signs that are like you're cool or like good job band. Like it's just it's very
good job band.
I don't think that's word for word in it.
But it's very 0 and 1. Like if you're doing a good job, you see good stuff. If you're doing a bad job, you see bad stuff. It's not like it transitions. It's a very quick.
Wait, is this Tony Hawk 5? What's going on?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. So first, what Justin was saying is true. Yes, there's good. It's either you're doing well or you're doing poorly. That's it. There's no in between. And it's the two are very extreme. I mean, you're either, like I said in the review, you're either an irredeemable embarrassment or an absolute guitar god.
I mean, this guy's got a skateboard. He's an embarrassment.
But yeah, and then the other portion of it that really I found kind of grating is that it's just so inauthentic. It just does not feel believable in any way. Nothing about it. Yeah, it's like
that's the most enthusiastic roadie that has ever existed.
Like a parody, but there's nothing about it that is sort of self-aware or silly or playful.
Look at this one. Is this?
I didn't even see this. I guess Andy Bauman must have shot this at some point with fellow producer Josh.
Yeah, Josh Shaw.
This is pretty
running
great.
the show at the moment in the back. And then there's Rob, his biggest fan. You are cool.
This is great. Oh, I would pay for this as DLC. Are we?
Oh, really? Can we do that?
Yeah, we're in talks right now to bring this to the game.
And when you're playing when you're playing the single-player campaign, you have some songs that are unlocked where you can do in quick play, but you actually it's a throwback to older Guitar Hero games and older Rock Band games where you have to play every song in order to unlock them in quick play and play them with another person.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of annoying throwback stuff like that. Yeah, so if you want to just jump in and play with your friends, you really kind of can't. Like the campaign is single player only, so all the video and stuff you're watching, it was built for a guitarist, right? It's shot from first person.
So there is local multiplayer stuff as well you can do?
Yes, so you can jump into quick play within live, but all of the songs, except for the first track from each set, is locked. So you have to actually play the single player by yourself to unlock the tracks in order to play them in quick play, which is like, didn't we decide 10 years ago that was a bad idea and that you should just be able to access content right out of the gate? I mean, why? You've already paid for the game. Like, why gate the content like that? It's just silly. And that's just one of a handful of examples of that kind of strange, step back. For example, if you ever pause the game, it'll count you back in, but it's the same counter regardless of the tempo of the song or where you are in the song. So inevitably, when it starts you back up, you're going to miss several notes. It's like, I mean, Rock Band handles that a lot better. I mean, again, there are just a lot of examples like that where it's just it could have used some polish, and these are such easy things to fix and stuff that was resolved years ago that it just kind of backpedals on. It's weird.
Let's also talk then about the actual songs, because that's one of the most important parts of a game like this. In your review, I read that I guess most of the songs from this are taken from like top 40 from the past 5 years.
Pretty much,
so it's
almost
like
all of them, actually.
A lot of poppy stuff then.
Yes, it's primarily focused on top 40 pop music, not a lot of, previous games would, in Rock Band, I think especially does a good job of this, it'll pick songs that even if you don't know them, they are appropriate for the gameplay.
Yeah.
There is, an interesting guitar hook, or, the guitar is sort of the focus. There's something about the song musically that makes it interesting and fun to play.
Yeah.
With a lot of these songs, they're popular, and you'll probably recognize them because, yes, they're all like top 40 major label songs from the past 5 or so years, with only a small handful of exceptions. But a lot of them are not built for this kind of gameplay. They'll have like one single line or guitar hook that'll just repeat for the entire verse, and then you'll play the chorus, then it'll go right back to the verse, and ultimately the song will have just like 3 different parts over its entire duration, and that's just not fun to play. And then you also get stuff like Skrillex or Eminem,
Yeah,
which
that
like
seemed
yeah,
weird.
again like really popular artists, but those songs. Like the Skrillex song literally doesn't have guitar in it.
No, when
it opens
Skrillex-
for like 10 seconds of a guitar lick, and then the rest of the song, no guitar.
But you are playing.
So you're playing like the synthy sounds and dubstep noises. But it's just why you're making a game called Guitar Hero. Why would you not pick music that's guitar driven? There's so much good guitar driven music. Why would you pick these songs? It's just it doesn't make sense.
So that's on the sort of Guitar Hero live campaign stuff.
Yes.
So explain what the other part of this is, because this looks interesting in terms of at least the library of music that's available.
Yeah, so that's the sort of natural segue between the two. The Guitar Hero TV offers way more music, but the way that it provides music is not really like anything we've seen before in a music game. So, traditionally you could buy a song as DLC and you would own the song, you play it whenever, blah, blah, blah. Guitar Hero TV does not do that. In fact, you cannot buy songs, there's no way to permanently unlock a song so you can just play it whenever you like.
So how do you get access to new songs?
So if you want to play a particular song, if there's something that you find in the game's song catalog, you're like, oh, that's a good one, I want to play that song, you have to spend a play to play it just that time.
Okay.
It's like a one-time, you spend a play, you play the song, and you can't even restart the song if you screw up. It's
And
like
where do you
spend
get
the
these plays?
So you accumulate plays, basically every thing that you play in Guitar Hero TV, even the stuff that you're paying to play, or spending plays to play. That's confusing.
Go for it.
Everything you play, you get coins. And coins you can spend on plays, or you can spend on like custom note tracks and stuff like that.
Do you get those in the campaign as well, or is that only
No, it's specific to Guitar Hero TV. And you can also spend real-world currency, like you can spend actual cash to buy plays.
Yes.
But you don't have to. You can, accumulate coins by playing the game and spend that on plays.
How often do you accumulate coins to get plays?
See, that's the thing. So a single play, when you play a song, you are not earning enough coins to buy another play. So inevitably, you're going to run out of plays.
Yes.
And the game is pretty generous up front by giving you chunks of plays. Like you beat the tutorial, and it automatically gives you, oh, here's 10 plays. Spend them on whatever.
We want to get you into our marketplace.
Yeah, kind of.
Do you know how many songs it is? Is it like 3 songs?
It's a little over 200 songs.
No. In terms of how many times you have to play to get one of these.
Yeah, so 2 to 3 songs, depending on your performance, will net you enough coin to purchase a play.
But then you can also buy them with your own money.
Correct.
So what's the rate on that?
So you can a 10-pack of plays costs you it costs you $2.50.
Okay, for 10. All right.
For 10 plays. But again, the game is relatively generous up front. It'll just give you chunks of plays, and you are earning currency no matter what you play. And the primary way to earn currency, if you're not just spending plays on the songs you want to play, is the Guitar Hero channels. So basically the way the channels work is there are 2 of them. They offer different programming. Generally one's going to be more pop focused, one's going to be like rock and metal focused. And it's just a constant stream of preset music videos, kind of like old school MTV. Like you could tune into MTV or MTV2 and it would just be, they're just playing music videos.
Or Last FM Radio or Spotify Radio or any one of those services that sort of like plays a bunch of music.
Although unlike something like, say, Pandora, you can't put in suggestions. It's just whatever the game is playing, that's what you're going to play.
Well, unlike Spotify as well. Spotify, you can pick songs. You get to choose, like, here's the thing that I want to play. And this is more like Groove Shark, where it's like, I'm going to play these. So there's channels set up. Like, you are going to play songs that are kind of within a genre. So, like.
But there's only 2 channels, so the delineation is, like, really, they're in very big buckets.
And
there's not much separation.
That's all free?
Yes, the channels are absolutely free.
And that's like fun, because that's like a type of discovery as well. It forces people to
and
play
in fact,
songs
I
they
think
wouldn't
this
like.
was where I broke from most other reviewers. A lot of people seem to really enjoy the channels, and I really don't.
Really?
And the main reason why is I just want to have more control over what I'm playing, honestly.
If you spent $60, no, sorry,
$100.
You spent $100 on something.
Yeah, because you have to get the new guitar. You can't play this game without the new guitar that comes with it, which makes sense, and we'll get to that in a minute, because the gameplay is awesome. But to finish up with the Guitar Hero TV, the channels that you can't even skip a song. I mean, seriously, it's like television where whatever's on is what you're playing. So if something comes on, you're like, oh, I hate this artist, or I hate this song, or this isn't fun. You're either stuck playing it, or you quit and you go play something else, assuming you have the plays to go pick a song you actually enjoy. And to me, that just feels weird, and I feel like it kind of it just funnels you into the microtransaction system, so you can technically play without paying.
Like,
But-
presumably a couple of more channels might have fixed this problem.
And
for
they
them.
are planning on adding a third channel, but they haven't even indicated what
Third
that channel
channel.
will be. Like,
Rock,
they haven't talked about the
metal,
genre.
And rock will be split in half. And then
So it's the whole system just feels weird to me because it's like if you have to worry about having enough currency to play the content you want, it fundamentally changes how you're even thinking about the experience. Like, is it worth spending a play to play that song, or ooh, am I gonna really have enough? And do I need to grind through songs to earn coins? And I don't want to think about that.
that
when I'm
type of
playing a music
thing
game.
certainly feels like it's going to be down to like the consumer. Like, are they comfortable with it? To me,
Yes, absolutely.
sounds like something I might not be into. But aside from that, let's talk about the sort of the physical aspect of this.
Yeah.
The new guitar. Does it play well? Does it
Oh, yeah.
feel like you're learning how to play Guitar Hero again?
Like I say in my review, the mechanics are really what redeem the entire game for me. I feel like it really does successfully reinvent just the core mechanics that drive the entire genre. And that's a serious accomplishment. I mean, that took some real thinking and some deft execution to even make that
So
work.
by that you mean?
So the way that it works now is traditionally you had 5 buttons all in a row, just linear, right? And what sort of made it tricky was you had to extend your pinky down or move your entire hand to get to that last note, right? So the way that this new guitar works is it's actually 6 buttons and they're laid out sort of side by side. So you have 3 buttons on
top?
sort of the upper part of the neck, closer to your body, and then 3 buttons directly underneath that, closer to the floor. So you're switching not only up and down on the fretboard, but back and forth between one side and the other. And so that allows for a lot of really interesting new patterns and variations in the note charts, and it does force you to completely relearn the way that you play these games, which is exciting because it makes it feel fresh and new again, and just the process of learning and developing your skills is super rewarding. It's always been rewarding. It's what made the genre such a hit in the first place, or a big part of it anyways.
Excellent.
So to recapture that and make it new is like, that's huge.
Guitar Hero Live, 6 out of 10 on GameSpot.com.
Yes.
I guess wait and see if that's the sort of type of model you want to buy. Is there DLC coming out for it?
They've stated that they plan to continue to add songs to Guitar Hero TV.
Right,
the
okay.
plans are slightly vague, but from what I've heard, they want at least 70 new songs in by the end of the
Cool.
year.
So they're going
We'll
to funnel
see.
people into that aspect of it.
Yes.
All right. Justin, Scott, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us all about Guitar Hero Live.
Of course.
We'll be back in just a second. We got a bumper show coming up. Dark Souls 3, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Halo 5, and more. But first of all, let's check out this new trailer. GTA 5 stuff is still coming out, so we're going to go check out some lowriders.
We out here gang banging like it's 91. You feel me? I'm a hustler. I'm a gangster. King of the castle, OG. The ballers and the vagos care way too much about flossing they lowriders, but a fool and his lowrider are soon parted. Smoke them fools and get gone, you feel me? Oh shit, it's the vagos, they riding on us. It take more than 3 lunatic gangs and no ideas to stop Lamar Davis. Move it!
Hey, what's up, friends? Eric Tay and Mary Kisher here. Mary, you're on the couch.
Oh my God.
This is great. What's going on back there?
This is what it's
Josh
like.
is on his own. No, Dan's
knows?
with him.
Nothing's
Josh
on
and Dan.
fire. Don't worry about it.
Dan Mahork's putting out fires. We can have you here for like 5-10 minutes because Dark Souls 3, the two of you got to play it this week or have been playing it since Monday. And I know you're kind of in the same boat as me because you've played Bloodborne, but
Yep.
you're not a big Souls fan.
Correct.
That's the same for me. But Mary, you're a fan of the series and you've been playing them all.
Just the Dark Souls ones.
So, yeah.
I didn't play Demon Souls, but yeah.
So I guess the question is, what is your initial impression of Dark Souls 3? What's new, first of all, Mary?
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff that they're adding to try to revamp it. First of all, you're way faster. They've increased your stamina, and stamina regens faster. So I think they're taking a little bit from Bloodborne, and they're trying to get you to move around and dodge a little bit more, although it is still very focused on using a shield and then attacking, although that's not Tay's way. Tay likes to dodge. But you'll find in a lot of these fights, I can easily run away and I can kind of dodge. I can run past enemies really quickly, which you weren't able to do in previous games, but I think they're encouraging it more. They want you to be moving around a little bit more.
So the stress test was it just Monday? So it was
Friday,
last week, was it?
Yeah, it was Friday to Sunday at specific time periods. We had about 3 hours each day.
Yep.
To try it out. There were 4 new classes. Well, I mean, like there was 4 classes that were playable. I think there was only 2 before this stress test. So the 2 new ones is the Academy Assassin
And the Herald of White.
and the Herald of White, and they both have magic. The Herald of White is kind of more of like, I wouldn't call him like a cleric paladin, but he has the ability to buff himself, his attack and his defense as one of his spells. And then the other one allows him to heal, and then he also has Lightning Strike.
And then the Academy Assassin is very magic based. They have 3 magic moves. There's a dagger, which is really quick. There's a longer move that's kind of does a little bit more damage. And there's just this giant circular sword move, which is really rad. So another new thing is there's a mana bar, and they're letting you regen your mana at bonfires. And then they also have an Ash Estus Flask, which is similar to your regular Estus Flask. It just regens your mana. And because of that Estus Flask, you can just burn through your mana. Like you can just go, and pretty much do magic tricks all day, which I thought they always tried to not let you do a lot of ranged attacks in Dark Souls. They want you to be up close. They like that close combat. But with the Magic Man, you can
just rain down Hogwarts on these
you can
motherfuckers.
just run train on pretty much everyone from a long distance. I found it a little OP, but the problem with judging this is that it's a stress test. This isn't a demo. This isn't a preview build. A lot of this stuff isn't final yet. I even asked them.
Yeah, well, it's not until March, so presumably
That's
a lot
right.
of this is still
There's
gonna
still some stuff that they're working on here. I asked them about the cap on your health. As in previous games, when you die, you lose your max health, and it goes down and down and down until you get your humanity back.
Yeah.
And in this one, in this demo, that doesn't happen. And I asked them about that, and they said they hadn't decided yet.
Oh, wow, okay.
So there's no way to know how your health is actually, and that's a huge change, right? So there's.
So does it feel like there are big changes? Because then the other problem I always feel with these games is that whenever, and like I'm not a massive fan, so I can't speak to it personally, but listening to conversations in the office, it always feels like the real changes in these games like aren't really apparent until like a week or 2 weeks afterwards, when people are like diving into it and like figuring out how each game plays differently. So did it feel like a different sort of Dark Souls experience, like when you compare it to something to 2 specifically?
I would say that it's in the same realm. They've made minor tweaks. There's a little bit more speed. There's arts now. There's weapon arts where you can change your stance. Those are great tweaks. But it is very much in the same vein of the first 2. I found it, I mean, the locations, like the dilapidated areas, even the bosses, they kind of just have a similar feel to them. And I wouldn't say that this is a huge negative. I think for a beloved fan, you might find it, this is what I wanted. I want more of what I love, and that seems to be what you're going to get.
How about difficulty? Because these games have obviously prided themselves on being being punishing but fair. Presumably now we've had so many of these games that people have kind of figured out how to play them. So is it feel harder than previous games in that respect, or does it feel like the same? Or
It feels easier.
oh, easier, really?
I mean, like, I think for me going into it first, again, because I haven't played Dark Souls, so like you and me, the same playing Bloodborne, just kind of getting used to the pace. It is faster, so I'm definitely going to play this when it comes out. But I was getting punished in the beginning because I was just so used to, either having my gun and being able to stagger, or like I was using the dodge a lot, even though you have a shield, and you can block. And that's a very Dark Souls thing to do, right? But I was playing it like Bloodborne. It's just like, I'm going to dodge everything. And I think like after the first time you go through Bloodborne, it's kind of a struggle getting through each part of it, but then you learn and you get better, right? And then your second playthrough, you start going, okay, how do I refine all those things I did? And then like you're trying to pull off all these visceral attacks, all these backstabs, and all those things. And I think that's going to come with time, especially with this game. So I think it's still hard. Like how hard? I didn't play Dark Souls 2, so it's hard to say, but I think there's still like a slight learning curve because you're still learning like enemy types attack moves, right? That's really what these games are about. It's like learning how they're going to attack you, like what are their attack patterns, like.
But then that's probably a lot of this is probably new for you.
Yep.
So did you feel like that, Mary, or did you think you had all the enemies figured out largely because they're similar to the previous game.
He's right. There is a learning curve. You know, that boss takes a lot of time to take down. I felt in general, though, because I am familiar with a lot of the way you would see a generic skeleton guy, that I knew how to take him down. But again, there's a lot of fine-tuning, so there's a lot more to it than what we see. And then this is invading someone else's world, right? So that's another live player. Well, that's a whole nother can of worms. Like, that guy is hard, and this was a tough one for me. You can see.
How was that lag?
It's real.
Whoa. Is there a third person involved?
There is. In fact, I don't know if I look up, there's about 4 other people up there watching and cheering us on. So we're all fighting each other.
Does this happen just randomly during your playthrough?
Well, you decide to do this. You use a red eye orb, and those are like an item that you can use as many times as you want.
In like a specific area?
Well, yeah, in this area, at least for this demo, it took me here. And
Right,
then you got to find if you're red, then you want to kill the white guy, and if you're white, you want to kill the red guy.
Weird. So it's kind of like a multiplayer mode as opposed to the sort of,
Kill or be killed.
constant, persistent multiplayer thing that we've known in the Dark Souls, that like offhanded leaving notes and whatnot.
Definitely.
Like this is just like you just drink something and you're in a multiplayer match?
It changes it up, right? And it's aggressive. That's me. Yeah, I did not.
Come on, 3-on-1.
I did not survive.
But yeah, the messages are still there. So like most of them, at least from the test when we played, were pretty legit. There were some trolls, like I read one where it's like, illusionary wall ahead, and it's literally right in front of you, and I was a dumbass and I tried to walk forward, and then like I was like, wait, that didn't work, and I tried hitting it didn't work. You know, but there's still co-op too, so that's pretty fun.
You're
from what I've
supposed to
seen.
vote those down or up based on
I
how
totally
legit
voted
they
that
are.
one down once
Me
I
too.
appraised it with a negative. Right, when
That's
I
right,
walked into
I've been
the
doing
wall.
the same in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Yeah, 2 stars.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
We'll talk about that in a little while.
That's coming up. Stay tuned. But yeah, I think in terms of another thing that you want to see from a Dark Souls game, from Dark Souls 1 that had these really wonderful, intricate levels, that when you went into an area, you came out maybe back at the beginning where you started, and they would have these wonderful ways of weaving the world in and out. So you always felt like you were in this labyrinth that never ended. It was really beautifully done. I was a big fan of that. In Dark Souls 2, not so much. You kind of went to the end and then you turned around and you came back. In this demo, even though it was very small, this stress test, everything warped back.
Cool.
And there were parts where it wouldn't let me go forward, but if I looked out in the distance, I could see where it was going, and it was coming back around. So it looks like the level is more, it's more intricate, and it's more about weaving it back to where you began, which is really exciting for me because I'm excited to see how they do that. There's nothing better than getting to the end of an area and taking an elevator and finding out that you just saved yourself 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a
Bloodborne
good feeling.
shortcuts.
Exactly, yeah, the most satisfying thing in that game.
Those came back in Bloodborne as well. And it's a good feeling to know that even if, like, how do you know that you've progressed in a game like that? You know, you always feel like you don't progress. But when you get to a bonfire, or you use your souls and level up, or you get one of those elevators and you unlock a door, like, I've done something. I accomplished a lot, and I've saved myself a lot of time. So it's good to see that those are making a return.
Excellent. So you guys optimistic then about Bloodborne going? It's so sorry, not Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think like it's another game to look forward to. But it's not out for like another 6 months.
It's good though. That's good. That's
yeah,
good.
it is.
You know,
good.
we got time to play all our winter titles. You know, you got the Fallouts, the Tomb Raiders of the world, Bloodborne expansion on its way. You know, Halo obviously, and Assassin's Creed. So we have all that time to play that stuff, and then right around the corner next year, you know, we'll have a Dark Souls game. But I'm excited. It looks good. Again, haven't played a Dark Souls game, but Bloodborne totally got me hooked, got me into it.
Nice.
And after playing the stress test, I'm ready to play this one. So
Excellent.
looking forward to it.
All right, we better let you guys get back to actually running the show before the fire consumes us all. Eric Tay, Mary Kish, thanks so much for coming on and talking to us about Dark Souls 3. We're going to be back in a second to talk about Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Myself and Ty played a bunch of it on Monday morning. Alexa Ray Korea is doing the review. We're going to let her finish that. And we're going to have a conversation here with Josh Saw. So we're going to swap out backroom staff for just a moment. We'll be back though. In the meantime, check out this trailer for WWE 2K16.
I guarantee Stone Cold Steve Austin, it won't be a nice day.
You're nothing more than a face-painted freak!
But
folks, it's late October. You know what that means? Assassin's Creed season. Yeah, Josh Shaw's here. Ty Root's here. I'm here.
Hi, Danny.
We've all played Assassin's Creed Syndicate this week. We did a bunch on a live stream, Ty.
You taught me cricket.
I did. I taught you how to play cricket.
Thank you.
It's very important. You shoot the person who gets bowled
Who's out, yeah.
or caught out.
In the
Either
face.
way, it's fine. Josh, I think you played a lot more than that.
I
both
actually
of us.
did. I ended up playing it like all weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. What percentage are you at?
Like 28 or
Oh, wow, you're way ahead of
Okay,
me.
you're flying.
Yeah, I'm on sequence 4, maybe 5 now.
Okay, yeah, we're not allowed to talk about some specifics later in the game.
I won't talk.
We can't
plot.
talk. Yeah.
But let's talk generally. So Assassin's Creed. Okay, first of all,
Yeah.
let's all like, let's just put it out there our own Assassin's Creed histories. So, Josh, are you a fan of the series?
Yeah, I
where are
haven't
you at with
played
it?
every Assassin's Creed, but I did play 1, and then I thought 2 came along and fixed like everything I had a
Yeah.
problem with on 1. I played like a little bit of 3, and then 4 was cool with Black Flag.
Yeah.
Or, it wasn't called 4, right? I forget. It's,
No, Black Flag, and then
got
it was
really
Black
messy
Flag.
with the numbers.
Yeah, I know.
3 I didn't like, 4 was cool, and then this one I'm kind of into. Unity I didn't touch though.
Okay.
Or Rogue.
Ty.
I might be the only person here that liked 1.
Oh, I liked 1 too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
I think
so-
Josh
I thought it was cool. Just
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
had
I mean,
issues.
obviously,
Yeah, rough.
It's the same way I look at Mass Effect, right? Like the first one had problems, but I still loved it. I still like Assassin's Creed 1. I like that time period. 2, like Josh, loved. Played Brotherhood, did not play Revelations.
Yeah.
Skipped that. Played 3, huge American history buff.
Yeah.
So I tried to get into it, but there were some problems there. Did not like Black Flag.
Okay.
I was kind of, it just didn't fit for me.
Yeah.
And the whole Abstergo story and everything
Yeah.
just wasn't there. And then Unity played about maybe 10 hours of.
Okay.
And,
You played more Unity than I have.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah. I loved 1, 2.
Anyone I know.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like the same story. It's like I loved.
But the
1,
French Revolution's
I loved-
cool,
Yeah.
so,
totally.
yeah.
I loved 1. I loved 2. I loved Brotherhood. Revelation, same thing.
Yeah.
Played maybe 15 hours. Got sick of it.
Yeah.
3, I wanted to like, didn't really get into.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was a huge like U.S. History buff at the time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I didn't understand anything that was going on.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I liked the way they portrayed Washington is very. I think they did their homework on that. Like he's taught in school here in the States that he's like this renowned leader and that he was like amazing and awesome and 9 times out of 10, no one's going to talk shit about George Washington.
Hey,
but
we're not here to talk about George Washington.
No.
We're here to talk about
Assassin.
Charles goddamn Dickens.
and Florence
And
Nightingale.
Florence Nightingale, all the weird people in
Alexander
London.
Graham
Yeah.
Bell.
So like I'm also not a fan exactly. I'm also not a fan of Unity, and then I kind of want this one to be good.
Yeah,
And I think
so do I.
right at the gate, I was not a fan of the early tutorial missions. It just feels to me like the storytelling in these games has become so wayward. It was way too bombastic, way too explosive, and sort of sure of itself. But then once it opened up into London, the first thing I thought was like the actual environment of London is pretty spectacular.
Amazing. It's really they did their homework here too. I mean, that you can tell that they actually had a lot to go off here. Like when they made London and they made the boroughs and everything else, they had pictures, they had photographs, they were able to
this is
recreate
the first
everything.
time they had pictures.
Yeah. First, in the history.
All
of
the other ones were too old to have pictures,
Yeah.
so they could use those references.
Yeah.
So now they have like a good reference point, right? They can recreate London the way they want to. Obviously, it's not 1-to-1, but at the same time, it's like it
It's
doesn't
pretty
need to be.
the whole
It's accurate,
part
though.
from Westminster up to Trafalgar Square, Whitehall, and Buckingham Palace
Yeah.
is actually like I was just walking around going, oh, I bet Horse-Guard Parade's right here, and it was
Yeah.
right there.
The
So, Josh, what did you think of how it?
I did. I mean, it's kind of funny that they've had so many of these games and they force you through these tutorials, and it's like,
Yeah.
why? We know how to play the game. Just like set us in the open world and let us explore something is like a bit of a frustrating start. But at the end of the day, I was like, it's a pretty cool game. I had no hope for this. Like
Yeah.
Unity looked pretty rough, and I was like, I'll just try it out and capture the footage. But like I was pretty into it, and like I don't know. I think that they did it. This is the second time they used the Unity engine, right?
Yeah.
So they could polish it over the year. Sure, there were glitches, but they weren't like. They were just normal game glitches. They weren't
wasn't as
like
bad
those
as Unity.
horrible.
Yeah.
Glitches are going to happen in an open
it
world.
kind of looks fresher. It looks a little bit more restrained as well. Like it's not. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like on PC when it's out in November. What did you think about the actual missions? So I guess me and Ty we've gone around the same length into the game, like
Yeah.
not that long. Like
About
maybe-
5% through.
Okay, yeah, I'm probably around that as well.
Yeah.
I played a bunch more yesterday. So you're a bit further on. What do you think of the missions? Because I was finding them quite like basic early on already, Josh.
It was weird. It was really frustrating to me because I like to play it stealth style.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I've always hated about Assassin's Creed, which is when you walk down the street in your normal clothes, and every guard's like, "Hey, you stop!"
And in this place, you go anywhere, and it's just people giving you shit.
Everywhere. And they introduced a cool mechanic where you can like put on your hood and go into stealth mode. And I thought like they'd see you then
I'm
and
glad
then
you have a hood, by the way.
recognize you, and then like that would be suspicious. But if you were just walking around in your normal top hat, why are they recognizing you? Like everyone in London knows who these twins are, and that just ruins it for me.
But you're not even from London.
Yeah,
you're
you
from like
just showed up
Croydon
and
or
everyone's
something.
like, Jacob, Evie, the Fries, these secret assassins.
I'm still waiting for someone to be like, Assassino! Just come after you, But like, I agree with Josh. It's a little, I don't understand why they still
ruins the stealth
do that.
for me a little.
But what about the actual
As far
like
as
sort
the
of
missions,
the
I think
missions like?
sometimes there are some cool like high style ones, like some of the more like sequence enders, like it'll show you like cool ways to beat it, like you can pretend to be dead or something and like kind of beat the mission that way. The stealth stuff though, like there were just some of those quick ones where it's like sneak into here, and it was like I had to find this clue at a pillar. And it's like, okay, I could come back at any time of day, but she decides to do it while the enemies were giving a speech at the pillar. It was like all roped off, and it's like, why would I need to do this right now?
Yeah.
There's no reason to do it. I tried it over and over and over again, trying to stealth my way in, and then eventually like had all my like gang members like attack the guards, and I threw smoke bombs everywhere and went in. Oh, and then one by one, I whistled and had the guys come over, and I assassinated them into the haystack. And it was like, this is not the most satisfying way you could do this.
Totally, I think like that's a really good point that I've experienced as well. Is that like I feel like all the time there's like one way to complete these missions, and you gotta do it that way. And coming out of like The Witcher 3 and like Metal Gear Solid, it feels like really straight. I don't feel like I have the freedom to figure out how to solve anything. It's like, oh no, you wanna kill all these people, then you just better do it.
I just felt like I was doing it right, but it wasn't working. I felt like I was stealthing how I was supposed to, but they'd still see me or whatever, and it didn't feel good. And also, like sometimes weird things happen, and it's like that worked out all right. But in Metal Gear, it was set up to work like that.
Yeah.
And in this, it's just like, oh, it looks like the game didn't stop this cool thing from happening.
And the other thing, Ty, you were mentioning before, which was that in we talked about it, I think, on Monday. In Metal Gear Solid, and it's hard to like keep comparing it, but like this definitely does feel like sort of a different, like an old type of open world game as opposed to what we've seen with The Witcher and Metal Gear. But in those games, whenever you got caught by the guards, it felt like, oh, everything's changed. It's like it's a charged situation, and now I have to like figure out a way of beating them that way. Whereas in this, you just mash square to kill them all, and then people who were like 20 feet away didn't even notice.
You can kill like 30 guys, and then it's like, okay, you're clear.
Yeah.
It's weird because I think the formula for most Assassin's games is like you get caught, you piss off a guard, or you piss off a bunch of guards. You look for that line out, right? It's like that one line, and there's multiple paths you can take, but you have to go hide, right? You have to climb a building, you have to parkour over a wall, hop on a pole. In this one, it's kind of cool because you can hop on a carriage,
hop on a pole,
hop on a train.
Never find me on that. Well, have you guys gotten the zip lines yet?
No, see that I haven't even gotten that yet,
because
but I've
that
seen
does change a lot.
Yeah,
I didn't think I'd like it, but it's really cool.
Yeah, you hit L1 and it basically like Batman hooks.
You can either shoot straight up like up a building, and you can go like between buildings. So it's cool because if you're trying to take out guards in an area, you can air assassinate them, and then just like zip right back up, and then like scout out the next one. Or if he's in between buildings, you can like kind of climb across it, and then be right above him and air assassinate him. Like you can make the ledge for you to jump down from. Yeah, the doubles are great too. So it's.
I also love the skill points and using Jacob and Evie separately. Like you can fine tune them to your playstyle. So like if you want to approach a mission super stealth, you can. When Evie's better for that, then you can actually like kind of use your skill points to like level her up to a specific play style, and then you can use Jacob, who's like the over-the-top brute, right? Who's just gonna like fuck shit up and punch stuff around and like cause a ruckus. But there may be a mission that calls for that. So it does mix it up a little bit. I think it gives you variety. So that part's obviously, I think, is a bonus.
And from a plot side too, like they have kind of their own agendas, and so there'll be like separate missions for them.
Have you enjoyed the story? Because I've actually found the story to be quite like
I've
not good at the start.
I've never enjoyed an Assassin's Creed story.
Oh, really?
Because they just jump around between individual characters so much. And I remember beating Black Flag, and I had no idea that was the end. It just
yeah.
happened, and it was like, wait, this is what I've been trying to do this whole time.
Yeah.
It just keeps jumping from all these like weird like capes and like eyes and all this stuff. And I think it all happened at the end of like Revelations, so I missed a lot. But they just don't focus enough on what's going on with the characters.
It's interesting. I'm actually quite surprised that you're into it and you played so much of it over the weekend. I think one of the points you made though definitely resonated with me, which is that like I kind of went into this with low expectations. This feels to me like a game like Infamous Second Son or like Batman Arkham City, where they're like, oh, it's that old style of like, here's a bunch of stuff to do in a map. There's gonna be a certain amount of repetition. There's not that many like side questy stuff. It's kind of just like an old style open world game and have fun with it.
Yeah.
As opposed to like what we've seen with other open world games this year, where it's been like dynamic storytelling and like, you know, having crazy different like ways of attacking bases and emerging
I think that's
gameplay.
a
It
good
doesn't have that.
point.
You know?
And that's what's going to be interesting, I think, about this particular game, and to see how different it is and how well it does financially and how many units it actually sell.
Yeah.
Because the previous games, like with Rogue and Unity, you're talking like 10 million units, I think, across both.
Right.
Unity was the first Assassins that was specifically for the Xbox One and PS4.
Yeah.
Then they made Rogue out for the previous gen. So now will this match that sale total?
It definitely feels
Yeah.
like a game that like an annual franchise at this stage, where it's like
Yeah.
it's not
Such
really
a formula.
Yeah, it's a formula. Yeah.
And we'll know now. Like, we'll see how many units it pushes when it releases next week.
Just what
Friday.
you were saying about open world though is like I don't play this like an open world where I
Right.
like walk around and see what's going on in the park.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll go rescue these kids from this factory. I'll go like take out this base, and like each of those little things, I had some fun like stealthing around it.
Yeah.
As far as open world though, it's so not believable. It doesn't have that
Yeah,
GTA
it's
charm.
completely unbelievable. You're fucking ramming down like these horses can
characters, what were they
take
thinking?
lampposts to the face like I've never seen.
There's a little collectible. It says like wanton destruction or something.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? So once I realized like, oh, I can get that by doing lampposts,
Yeah.
I just ride down the sidewalk now. Just knock them down. Boom, 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 boom. And it's a horse running through like hundreds and trees too. And it's
Like people are just like gormless idiots. Like there's dead bodies in the street and they're like, oh, whatever.
What was that thing over the bridge yesterday?
Oh yeah, I was trying to throw dead bodies over the bridge. Oh yeah, there was just 3 people walking towards me in the middle of the bridge, like enemies, and I threw a knife at one of them in his face. He died, and the other 2 people were just like chatting to each other. And there's like a dead dude on the ground. Then I killed the 2 of them, and this guy in like a horse goes up, and he just stops in front of them, like I can't get past here.
He's like, move.
Yeah, so I picked up the bodies and tried and throw them over the bridge, and he's like waiting for me to pick up the last body. It's like,
all right.
yeah.
In like GTA, people would be screaming
Yeah.
and running everywhere. And it's like there's
Well, it's that
just-
attention to detail that
Yeah.
it lacks sometimes.
It has the like
Yeah.
environmental attention to detail.
It does.
But you're right. It does not feel like a mod. It's not an open world where you're wandering around thinking like, "Ooh, I wonder what I'll see around this corner."
Yeah.
It's like it'll be another dozen idiot Londoners.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I'm still.
it'll be a guard yelling, "Hey, you!
Yeah, hey.
If you don't walk away, then I'm gonna chase you."
I'm gonna knock your block or something like that.
I mean, I still
So
want
then you
to.
sprint away, and he's like, "Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
I did my deed for the day."
It's really weird. It's like they think you're an assassin. They think you're fucking with them, and it's only when you sprint away that they're like, "Oh, it's fine."
Okay, cool.
Yeah. If you just act normal, they're
Oh,
like
I'm
still
up.
giving you shit in the middle of the street.
If they were so recognizable, they'd wear disguises. Like I don't understand why they're just walking around where every enemy knows their faces and their clothes.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that that I guess it bothers me in a lot of Assassin's games, but just the NPCs, they all just look the same. Like
Yeah.
the guys that are after you.
Dude,
look
I don't know how
identical.
many
Act the
like
same.
bald,
Yeah.
burly guys that
Is there one girl model with the
Yes.
like short hair,
Yeah.
and she's on your team or the enemy team? They just change the color of her clothes.
Yeah, so there's
the bald brute guy.
Yeah, and so that's another thing. They have all the different types of enemies, right? They have like the big brute guy. They have the sniper. They have the scout. And if you fight any of them, you mash square
Yeah.
and then dodge. And press X if they have the gray bar and mash square.
Yeah,
It doesn't
press
matter.
X when it literally says X above their head.
Yeah,
like
it
it's
doesn't matter who it is. You just press those same buttons and they'll die.
yeah. Combat's not great either. But I like it's like
but it's brawler,
if
you know.
if you go
Yeah.
in with like expectations of what this game is, it is an open world, like interesting setting. It's not really pushing the boat, you know,
I don't wanna-
moving the needle.
The challenges are fun. Like the missions have like kind of bonus challenges,
Hmm.
and I don't get all of them, but I aim for those, and that kind of gives me like
Yeah,
that
some of them are fun,
collector
yeah.
attitude.
And I don't even want to knock it too much on the combat. I mean, the thing is, it's.
Oh, I hate the combat.
But it's representative of the time of that era. Like no one has swords anymore. Like
Yeah.
no one does that stuff. So it's like,
you have to adapt, right?
But it's
you
like-
have brass knuckles now, and
But you can
it's-
punch in The Witcher, but you still have to like block and
Yeah,
like move.
I guess that's true,
Whereas
yeah.
in this, it's just like Evie with her stick, just going.
It's kind of cool though.
Like
She has some
hitting-
cool animations though. There was some cool stuff that I was doing with Evie like 2 days ago, where like she has like these awesome executions that I thought were
Some
like
of those
rad.
finishing moves. When you
Yeah.
have like two at once and she like
Yeah,
throws
it's
the knife
just-
in the eye and kills
I
the
got
other guy.
really like I just remember like Altair and like the first game where it's like you work so hard to
man.
kill one person, and by the time you're done with the tutorial with both those characters, I'd murdered like 50 fucking
They
people.
expected you to run in the first one.
Like these people, yeah, but like now these people are just sociopaths.
And honestly,
like you've
Evie-
killed thousands of
Well, I mean,
people.
It's kind of
And
like games in general.
But it's like I remember like in the first games it was like, oh, this is like an invading army. Whereas like now they're just like street thugs. So these are just Londoners who've got families, and you're just like
And you're
They're
like
gangs.
super elite, yeah.
and then why are you doing it? For your gang, which is
Yeah.
doing the same thing.
Also, I killed the guy and then I like moved the camera and there were just two kids like looking at it. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be a good guy, but I just like walk away.
It's okay, Timmy.
The kids
it's
are the
okay.
most crime-ridden thing in this entire game.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our, I guess, impressions of Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
But it was all right.
Yeah,
I don't want to bash it. It's fun
not
too, but it's
not a
fine.
bad game
Yeah.
at all. I don't think. I think it's just it's Assassin's Creed. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
And
in
if you
Victorian
like it,
London.
this is a pretty good one too,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think if you know what an Assassin's Creed game is at this stage, you kind of know what Syndicate is.
Yeah.
But our official review will be up on the site. I believe Wednesday midnight is when it's getting
I think it's
posted.
like Thursday.
No, it's
4
Thursday
a.m.
at 4 a.m.
Thursday 4 a.m. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Pacific.
pretty soon. So make sure you go back to
Set your alarm
GameSpot.com if you
clock.
want to see Alexa Ray Korea's review of that for GameSpot.com. All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. We got one more section. So many games. Yeah. So many games. Got to get Rob out here to talk about some Halo 5. But before we do that, Overlord Fellowship of Evil. Overlord. Do you remember Overlord?
I've never heard.
Ever said? Do you remember
Never played
Overlord
it.
games? Is it
I mean, I've
one of
heard of
these
them, but never
games?
played it.
Is it one of these Overlord? Is it? You're with the minions? It's like Xbox 360. Apparently, there's a new one of those. Let's check out the trailer.
The forces of evil have had a few setbacks recently. Tinkly goodness is on the rise, spreading cuteness and hugs across our once corrupt and unpleasant land. So we've called in a few reinforcements. Those who understand that evil isn't just what you do, it's who you are. The Nether Ghouls, Cryos, Inferno, Melody, and Hawker. Each uniquely skilled for spreading mayhem and grabbing loot and summoning minions. No, they do like their hats and their sheepies, bless their scabby black hearts. Where was I? Ah, yes. These dark heroes will have to work together or alone to thwart the forces of shininess. But no one's here to make friends, at least not for long. So sharpen your weapons, dust off your minions, and get with the carnage. Because evil always finds a way.
Then video games just keep on coming, and there's a new Halo, the 5th Halo game. Rob Handlery
Five.
and Eric Tay.
Hello.
Halo Wars, does that count? ODST?
No, ODST can count.
Scrap them
Halo.
all there.
Yeah.
Halo 5.
Yeah.
Both you gentlemen have played it. What have you played so far? Because it's not the entire game yet.
Just the campaign.
Okay, have you completed the campaign?
I actually have not. I'm a mission shy. I've been really
Okay.
busy this week. But Eric
have.
has.
You've
Mike-
completed it?
Yes.
But
Mike-
we're not allowed to talk about story specifics.
No.
Correct.
That's fine. No
Still
one
under
wants
embargo.
spoilers, yeah.
Okay. Multiplayer stuff is starting soon enough. We're going to get to play that
Yes,
maybe?
this week.
Okay, so-
Tomorrow, tune in, and we'll be doing probably some live stuff,
Oh, excellent. That'd be cool.
as well as co-op. So co-op, we'll see some of that as well tomorrow.
Sweet. So we might get you back on the lobby as well to talk about that then next week. So I guess the campaign. You guys have played it.
Yeah.
First of all, Rob, how does it play? Does it feel like a Halo game?
It feels like a Halo game. More so, I like this game more so than 4.
Okay.
4 to me felt like kind of desperate in some ways, like how it, multiplayer-wise, it like tied in a lot of like seems like forced Call of Duty elements, like ordnance drops. I remember being at the moment kind of turned off by it.
Yeah.
But this, off the bat, like just playing this game feels so great.
You're a massive Halo fan. I've seen
Yeah.
videos of you playing like Halo 1 and 2 and
Yeah.
like really sort of remembering the good old days.
Right.
Does it feel at all like that?
It does in that it's much more simplistic. Like there aren't these class-oriented things so far. It's kind of just, it's got this new mobility thing. It's kind of like the trend now, right? Is to add in the dash, add in like, mantling and all these different moves. But it just flows so well. Like it was so easy to pick up. Like the power abilities, as like much as some people aren't into them. You can do like a ground pound, right? Where
Yeah.
you jump in the air and you charge up and you slam down enemies. It's so gratifying. It's a blast, and it just fits in really nicely.
What about like environments and stuff, Tay? Like one of the things I love about Halo is just the diversity in the levels, like big sort of outdoor stuff, like fun internal spaces, and then crazy sci-fi elements and different planets and stuff. Like what does Halo 5, does it have that sort of diversity in it?
Oh yeah, definitely. First and foremost, it's beautiful. It looks amazing. Different planets and different surfaces and stuff like that. I think just speaking with Rob and even Mike, who play a lot of Halo, they're saying for the first time that there's just so much more verticality.
Yeah.
There's so much more space to kind of roam around. Different paths you can take that aren't as linear.
Right. Touching on that, that's so big. Like Halo 4, for instance, I enjoyed the campaign, but there wasn't much of a drive to go back to it.
Yeah.
This was almost frustrating in the element of like, I was constantly trying to look around for things to do because there are so many different paths. You have one of the abilities you have is called a Spartan Charge, where you can kind of plow through an enemy or whatever. But there are these paths that they basically hide from you. Like you can basically find flanking maneuvers by plowing through a rock formation and coming from behind. And there is just here he's listening. I'm constantly. Well, this is me just exploring like an idiot.
There's intel you're looking for, right? So that's why you're kind of.
So there's and touching on that just a little bit more is basically you can see this being a really great co-op experience because there's so much to do and see in these games and replay again. Like I'm looking. So here's an example of this. You'll see I plow through here. Do it, you idiot. Do it.
In the crack? Oh,
yeah.
wow, okay,
So you go and you can now flank an enemy. It's a lot of fun stuff like that.
What's the rest of the gunplay like as well? Because the Halo sort of has this, the formula is like well known of like the AI, the way, I guess, the movements, the way the guns work. The sort of the AI in that game has never been like the cleverest thing, but it's almost been by design. So like, how does this feel? Does it feel like a normal Halo game where like you're playing groups of different types of enemies that fight in different ways, and you're having to like figure out who the strong one is, and then what's that like?
It's great. I think it's at its best. More so, the AI is never outstanding. You're not you're not blown away by them doing any tactical maneuvers, but you take each enemy and you handle them a lot differently now. For instance, there are these knights, right, from the older game. They're more jacked up. You have a new enemy that's kind of like the soldier who are replacing these knights. Now the knights kind of leveled up, and they're extremely difficult.
Right.
And you have to handle it really differently. What we have to do is basically shoot at glowing armpits.
Great.
It's cool. But that's where they're
Attack at sweet
located.
point.
We'll shed footage of it. But you shoot this, and you get one chance to basically get a one-shot headshot. And if you don't get it, then you have to shoot the other armpit. So there are these tactics you have for each enemy. Like hunters now, I don't believe before, but more often you throw a grenade at them and they'll bounce right back at you.
Oh, really?
So it's tough. It was tough, and I
They
played
figured that one out.
Right.
Sons of bitches.
And there's just tons of different enemies, and you handle each one differently, and I think that's more predominant in this one than any of the other
Previous ones.
Halos.
A good variety as well throughout the missions?
Great variety,
You're not fighting the same three things all the time?
Not really, no.
No, yeah, you get hunters. This is kind of always a part where you get two hunters, but it's a good variety for each map.
We talked a little bit about the environmental stuff. I think you're not allowed to talk about the thing I want to talk to you about, but you said you played one of the best levels you think in the history of.
Yeah, I just to touch on it lightly without spoiling anything.
You can't talk about specifics, but
It was just a really.
breathtaking moment.
Yeah, where I paused it and I had to text someone and be like, "This is the best Halo level I've ever played." and this was 10 seconds in.
Yeah.
Just because it caught me off guard. It was really fun.
Yeah.
But basically, just to lightly touch. All right, it's just a physics thing. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, okay.
they
They
changed
do
something really
something.
cool.
Let
Yeah.
the viewers
And you enjoyed it.
play it.
Oh, it was like,
yeah.
whoa, that was one of the coolest levels I played. Like, it reminded me of like Silent Cartographer from like, where it's like an open world, handle this mission however you want.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those things.
Like the
that was really
opposite of the library.
cool. Yeah.
On the other end of the scale.
but
Let's-
touch-
speaking of cartographer, actually, let's talk about the vehicle stuff a little bit.
Sure.
So how does
Tate
that
loves
play?
vehicles.
Tay,
No,
you're not a big fan of the vehicles?
No, I don't.
Really?
Yeah, I just so I know it's a staple of Halo games, sorry, and maybe some people are gonna kill me for this, but I think even Rob had some slight frustrations with it too. It's just like as you progress through the game, as you know, you are gonna get on a Warthog, you're gonna get into different vehicles.
Banshee or something.
Yeah,
Of
banshees
course.
and whatnot, and just some of the ground transportation just frustrated me a little bit. And like,
Case
here's
in
a good
point
example.
right here is this mission where you operate a Mantis. Now, what gets frustrating, and I did this on Heroic, and this took me really long. I mean, Legendary is where it's at, and I will play it on Legendary for sure. But man, on this on Legendary must be so tough because what happens is, you go through this long trek in a Mantis, but by the end of it, you see I'm glowing red because if I take one hit,
No.
then I'm done.
So and it through checkpoints, it's keeping the health.
Yeah, so
okay.
you're like it gets, and this is kind of
Can't just get out of
this
it?
is a staple like of
Could
Halo
start
games.
over.
But you can't get out of it mid-mission.
Oh, you can,
yeah,
But they don't give enough. They should give you like more. Like a lot of these vehicle missions, you ditch a vehicle and you get another one.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. This one, not the case. You get one Mantis, but by the end of it, you're just frustrated because you're so conservative with like how you're playing. Like any small hit, you're done. And so
Wow.
you're redoing checkpoints pretty often. And it got a little frustrating. He didn't like it. He said he wanted to throw his controller. I don't blame
Well,
him.
it's because,
This is
like-
Eric Cat Mario Tay we're talking about here as
Yeah,
well.
but like it was just more of like because you're in the Mantis and you think, okay, I should be able to mow all these guys down because I'm in a Mantis. You are literally on the field, and I should be able to
Yeah,
take
you wanna
my
feel that
missiles,
power.
my Gatling gun or whatever chain gun, and just destroy them. And then instead, there's so many of them that it's like, oh, I guess I kind of got to tactically cover my vehicle that's supposed to be way stronger than these
So a specific sort of like you've had specific things here and there. You guys are, think doesn't work perfectly, but overall sounds like you're pretty optimistic about it.
Yeah,
At least the campaign.
Yeah, campaign is pretty enjoyable. There's one thing I want to touch on is like there's one thing that like just kind of nagged me in the wrong way where you, like other Halo games, sometimes you in like the Master Chief Collection you look for like Easter eggs, so like terminals. In this one, it's mission intel. Each mission has like 8 to 12 mission intel, and
Yeah,
they're like
pickups, right,
pickups,
yeah.
little, and it's a tape recording, and it's a little bit of the story. The story is sometimes hard to follow in general, and you find these voice recording pickups, and you play it. What's frustrating is that it will play over more often than not has happened. It was playing over the actual
Story dialogue?
in-game dialogue.
Okay, yeah.
So
Bit too much. Again, another sort of a nitty-gritty kind of
Nitty-gritty thing, but
which
it's-
we'll get to in the review.
But it's when the story is like they're throwing you a lot of plot during the actual gameplay, and so when that starts happening, I get frustrated
Yeah,
because
too
then
much.
I'm like kind of missing out on stuff. Of course, you can go back in the main menu and review all your.
But apart from that sort of stuff, like you
Minor.
enjoyed it. Like,
Oh, I very much enjoyed it. The gunplay, it feels like such a Halo game, and that's just huge for me. It's simple. Like you don't need so many. Like I feel like Advanced Warfare. All these games are tacking on all these, crazy glitchy movement stuff. But this is like a really tasteful, kind of like Black Ops 3 is doing this. Like just a tasteful. You get one. Like you know what I mean. You get one boost.
Yeah.
Either you're jettisoning out of a fight, or you're using it to your advantage. You're doing a juke move on someone. So
Cool.
it's tone. It's a nice balance.
it's good to hear. And then the multiplayer stuff. When are you guys streaming? That's tomorrow.
I don't know if we're
Hopefully
streaming.
tomorrow.
I won't guarantee anything.
Okay.
We need to look into that, but we're definitely playing tomorrow. We're definitely playing co-op tomorrow. I know, just to harken on that point,
Yeah.
I think campaign was fun. It was pretty good. But I think we can all agree that if we were able to do it co-op, I think it's like a lot better.
You would have enjoyed it.
I think.
more.
we
So I
would
guess
enjoy it
you'll
more.
find out.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we'll get you back on next week to talk about co-op. And is multiplayer involved in that as well, or is it just co-op?
I think
Both. Those
Yeah?
are kind of lifting at the same time.
Okay.
Those are kind of lifting at the same
So
time.
much Halo, so much video game in
Soon.
that.
Yeah.
Coming out in just a week's time, October 27. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Next week.
Just around the
next Tuesday.
corner.
It's around the corner.
Video games.
They're coming out, Danny.
We're almost done here. We got one more thing left to do.
What
Give
is
away.
What is this shit?
I wanna be the very best.
I wanna beat
You do the music while I.
No
We're giving
one
away a bunch of
ever
sick-ass Pokemon trading cards. This is one prize. All this stuff. We've got 2 copies of it. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 of these packs, these trading card game things, and then 2, I guess they're starter packs, right? What's it say on the front there? Yep, Mercury says it. Ancient Origins. You can collect all 1,500 Pokemons by getting this bad boy. All you have to do is follow GameSpot on Twitter and retweet that picture of Mary and her Pokebuddies.
Pokemon!
420 have already blazed up and hit that RT button, so make sure you're in there as well. I'm guessing this is North America only?
Most likely.
Most likely, says Eric Day. Great impression of Mary Kate. Yeah, so make sure you get on that. Just hit RT button, hit the RT, and you got a chance to win some Pokemon. I wonder if Shoe's in here.
Shoe!
Yeah. And
Pokemon!
What was the other guy
Vanille.
called? Garbodor. No.
Garbodor?
No, Garbodor's real.
Garbodor. Klefki.
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 That's the key one.
The key one. The key
No,
one.
what was the fake? The other fake one in Chin Pokemon?
Ramdor? Or
It was like he had a
was
gun
like-
for an arm.
Yeah, he looked like kind of like a Pikachu.
Lambtron.
Lambtron or something?
Yeah, I think it was might have been Lambtron.
Got to buy them!
Got to get Chin Pokemon. Sorry, we're not giving away Chin Pokemon. I'm so sorry. This is
That'd be
legit, real Pokemons right here. All right, that's the show.
Cool.
Hit that. You guys want to get out of here so you can hit retweet and win all this stuff.
Oh, you are so on point.
Nice. You gonna do it? I thought you were gonna. You think you can?
Stack it?
Yeah. Think you got it?
Dude, don't you
got
know
it?
that's like my other hobby is stacking?
All right. Thanks to Dan Mahork for helping out this week. There is Garbodor. Garbodor.
Garbodor, what is
Can we get Trubbish as
he
well?
looks like
Oh,
vomit.
Trubbish.
Trubbish is the previous evolution of Garbodor. Trubbish.
Trubbish. He's
Getting
Josh,
excited?
I heard one sec.
Can you do it side by
He's
side?
got it. Oh,
My
that's asking for a lot.
Vanille is the ice cream
Ice cream
one,
cone, right? It's
And
an
like
ice
the
cream cone.
evolution is a second scoop. Wow, look.
A second scoop.
Yeah, there's Trubbish. Trubbish.
Is that really what he looks like?
Yeah.
I thought he was bigger than that.
No,
for
he's a
some
fucking.
reason. No?
Well, he does nothing for scale, so.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Trubbish and Garbodor.
looks
You
like-
know.
Give us some vanille.
Yeah, do Vanille.
He looks like an
It's like an ice cream
it's an-
cone,
yeah.
pretty much.
Its evolution is it's got a second scoop. Vanille,
Yeah.
V-A-N,
Like vanilla, but like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just type in world's dumbest Pokemon. It'll be the first one to go. That and the keychain. Fucking keychain Pokemon.
Klefki.
What? You got it?
All right, it's coming, she said.
Yeah!
It's almost like a soft serve.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
That's real dumb. Anyway, you can get all the trading cards. Who knows? There might be a Klefki and a Vanille in there and a Trubbish or a Garbodor. Only one way to find out. Hit that RT button. We're done. Thank you so much, Josh Shaw, Mary Kish, Eric Tays right here, Dan Mahork as well for running the wheels of steel back there when everyone was out here. We're done for today, but loads of news on GameSpot.com, loads of features. Make sure you check back later in the week for our reviews of Assassin's Creed Syndicate and more. But in the meantime, have fun, play some video games, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific. Adios.
Bye.
Hey.
See ya.